What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh and this video is going to be a little bit different from the recent videos that I've put out. We're going to be delving more into pop culture with this video. I haven't really done one of these in a while. I have a couple things that I've noticed over this past week that have just popped up on my timeline while I was scrolling on Twitter that I just want to come on here and discuss and talk about with you guys. So we have a couple topics on the ledger for today. The first of which is we are going to discuss some more Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively drama. And then after that, we're going to discuss some Kardashian drama, some stuff that went on between Kim, Kanye, North, and the Tate brothers. And then we're going to discuss some stuff with Lizzo. Then we're going to discuss Azealia Banks for a hot second. And then we're going to wrap things up by talking about the fact that Texas is trying to ban furries or ban furry activity in schools. It's a whole thing. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into the first topic for today's video. We're going to discuss some more Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively drama and just some recent stuff that's come up in this whole drama situation and just my thoughts on the whole situation at hand. Alright, so right off the bat, Blake Lively has filed a motion to dismiss Justin Baldoni's defamation lawsuit that he filed against her. And she is filing this motion because apparently in the state of California, there is a law that says anybody that is accused of SA or anything along those lines, that the accuser cannot be sued by the accusee of defamation or something like that. I apologize if I muddled that explanation, but basically she is filing this motion because in the state of California, since she has filed a SA or SH complaint against Justin Baldoni, he technically can't file a defamation lawsuit against her directly just because in California that's how their law system works. Okay, so I kind of did a bad job at explaining this law, but basically this law was put into place to protect victims and accusers from being targeted by lawsuits, specifically defamation lawsuits, and those lawsuits being used to silence the victims and accusers of things like SA, abuse, and SH and stuff like that. I'm giving a broad oversimplification of this just because I'm not a law expert or anything, but basically she has filed to dismiss his defamation lawsuit against her. The main reason why he sued her and I believe the New York Times, he sued for defamation because of the whole New York Times article that came out, and apparently the New York Times and the publishers and some people that wrote that article were in cahoots with Blake Lively and they conspired to write that article against him. So not only is Baldoni suing the New York Times directly, he also sued Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for defamation and extortion. In that lawsuit, he claimed that because of everything that's happened between him and Lively, he has lost a bunch of potential clients and jobs. I just want to emphasize that everything that I'm discussing with this specific story is alleged. None of this is 100% fact or confirmed yet. So I see both sides of this. I see where she's coming from and I understand why he filed this defamation lawsuit. I haven't really discussed this as of late, and the main reason why is because I feel like it's still too early to say who's guilty and who's innocent in this whole situation. I feel like things are still too ambiguous. I feel like there's not enough data to really back up anybody's story more than the other person's. And I feel like, again, as I've said in earlier videos, I feel like this whole thing is just going to turn out like the whole Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation. And I feel like they were both just mean and nasty to each other. And my main logic and my main justification behind this is I feel like these two individuals went into this wanting their own things out of it, like they have their own ulterior motives. And I feel like those ulterior motives clashed. And I feel like what really sparred or started this whole thing was I feel like Justin Baldoni, for those of you who don't know, Justin Baldoni has all the rights to the books in this Colleen Hoover franchise, the It Ends With Us franchise. He has the film rights to all the books in this story. I feel like Justin Baldoni went into this wanting to use these movies and this film series as a way to cement himself in Hollywood and really put his name out there. He's been in Hollywood for a while. He was in Jane the Virgin, but I feel like he really wanted to use this to cement his name both in front and behind the camera. And I feel like Blake Lively went into this wanting to do a similar thing. I feel like she wanted to have her Deadpool moment, if you will. I feel like she went into this wanting to turn it into her own version of Deadpool. Because for those of you who don't know, before Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds wasn't really he was known, but he wasn't as well received before Deadpool as he is now. And he wasn't really as revered in Hollywood before his work on Deadpool. And when he got the role of Deadpool, that really like catapulted his career and really put him in a whole new ballpark and a whole new arena, if you will. That really gave his career a fresh wind, and a fresh wind that it needed. And especially if you've seen or if you've heard anything about the last Deadpool movie, Deadpool versus Wolverine, it was liked by both critics and the audience. And so again, that really catapulted his career to a new height. And so I feel like Blake Lively went into this movie wanting to do the same thing. Like I feel like she wanted to use this to put her name back out there in the limelight, but also like show that she can work both behind and in front of the cameras. Like I feel like she really wanted to use this whole film franchise to her benefit. And I feel like when Baldoni and Lively met on set, I feel like they instantly realized that they had similar motives, and I feel like their egos like clashed. I feel like things just got out of hand really quickly, and I feel like because they had similar motives, they saw each other as competition. And so I feel like that just spurred on them doing like nasty, mean, hurtful things to each other. Like that's what I think really happened. Like I feel like everything that's come out about these two, where it being Justin Baldoni was inappropriate on set, to Blake Lively wanting to throw Baldoni under the rug and she's really the bad guy here, I feel like they both did mean, hurtful things to each other on set simply because they wanted to use this film and this film franchise to their own benefit. And I feel like once they sort of realized that, they saw each other as competition, and they now want to just absolutely destroy the other so then they can have total control. Like I feel like Lively wants Baldoni completely off of this project so she can again make it her own Deadpool. And I feel like Baldoni wants Lively completely off of this so he can really be seen as the main star here, and he can really like capitalize on this. And he doesn't want Blake Lively to get like any of the credit or praise for her work in this film. And so that's what I really feel like this whole thing is about. Like I feel like these two just, their egos clashed, they had the same ulterior motives, and I feel like that is what really spurred on this whole drama between these two. And so that is also another one of the reasons I haven't really talked about this, is because again, I feel like they're both guilty in this. I don't feel like either one of them is innocent. I feel like they both did mean, hurtful, nasty things to each other, and I feel like they both wanted to sab each other's careers in order to allow one of them to come out on top of this whole situation, if that makes sense. But that is the latest bit of news we have in this whole drama situation. That's just my thoughts on this whole Baldoni versus Lively situation. I'm just looking forward to the trial to see like what hard evidence and hard facts and what credible evidence really comes out about this thing, so we can really like understand just what went down on the set. Because again, I feel like these two really did clash on set, and I feel like it's because they had similar ulterior motives and they saw each other's competition, and I feel like that's really what happened here. And I feel like the whole situation has just blown up and gone, it's just completely out of hand. But that's just my whole take on the situation. Let's go ahead and move forward to the next topic of today's video, which is going to be some Kardashian drama. So starting off, the entire like world has sort of fallen out of love with the Kardashians, and this has been something that's happened over the past few years. This isn't something that's really just come up all of a sudden. I would say that this started like right around COVID, I would say, is when this whole like falling out of love with certain celebrities, especially the Kardashians, started. So I haven't really been following the Kardashians that closely. I used to watch their show, but I haven't watched their show, I would say, since mid 2024. Like I haven't watched their show. I just haven't really been paying attention to them. But what happened with this whole situation is, for those of you who don't know, Kim and Kanye are split. They've been split for a while. They're doing like this whole co-parenting situation. And so North West was apparently at Kanye's house, but then apparently security or somebody informed Kim of the fact that the Tate brothers, Andrew, and I forgot his brother's name, but the Tate brothers, Andrew and the other Tate brother, they were on their way to Kanye's house while North West was there. And so Kim immediately pulled the plug on North's visit to Kanye. She apparently like went and got North from Kanye's house. Like she snatched North out of this whole situation. And so that made headlines. Also, while I was editing this, I came across an article, and apparently Kim like held an emergency custody meeting with Kanye after this whole thing went down. If there's one thing that's clear out of this whole situation, it's that Kim does not play about the Tate brothers. Like she does not want her daughter to be around them. Shoot, she probably don't even want to be around him. And I mean, who can blame her? Like I feel like any normal human being, given everything that the Tate brothers have been accused of doing and have allegedly done, like who would want to be around these individuals? Like Ew. Apparently Kanye wanted to use North's name in a Diddy song. I don't even know what's going on here, but apparently Kim blocked him from doing that. She trademarked their names, and Kanye has recently put out a barrage of tweets accusing Kim of trafficking individuals and their kids. And so it's just been this whole string of back and forth between these two, and this is like the latest update in that. Again, I don't really follow the Kardashians that closely, and I really don't pay attention to Kanye at all, just because he's really gone off the rails. He's put out some really anti-Semitic, racist, hurtful, nasty, mean, foul things that just should not be replicated on the internet, and his fall off is just crazy. But my take on this whole situation is, am I surprised that Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers are in community with Kanye West? No, like, I'm not surprised about this thing at all. Like, in my notes I wrote, once you get to the A and S tier of nefarious weird men, they all know each other. Like, they're all in community with each other, so I'm not surprised that Kanye was having the Tate brothers over to his house. Since we're already discussing North, I was not made aware of this until recently, but apparently Kanye was shading Kim for letting North be on a FKA Twigs song. She's on this song, I believe it's called Childlike. It's by FKA Twigs. It stars North West. Apparently Kanye was mad about this whole situation, and he was saying that it was wrong of Kim to allow North to be on the song because it was inappropriate or something like that. I listened to the whole song. I didn't really garner that out of this whole song. Like, there's this one lyric, give a glass of gin just to put it in. That lyric to me, like, okay, we obviously know like what that lyric is symbolizing, or like we know what that lyric means. That's really the only lyric out of this whole song that I garnered was inappropriate. Most of this song is talking about like childlike things, like that's in the song a couple times. There's like something about chocolate, I believe, in the song. Like, this song like is so like kiddish and childlike. I don't understand why Kanye was outraged by this. And so that's another thing that's been going on with Kanye and Kim, where it's just like he's been just mad at her for things that I don't really understand why he's mad at her for. Like, of course she doesn't want her daughter's name in a Diddy song. Like, why are you even still making that in 2025? And of course she doesn't want her daughter around the Tate brothers. What sane parent does? I feel like Kanye, before he went crazy, like his mind was brilliant. The things he did with Yeezy, the things he did for streetwear and streetwear fashion, like those things are unparalleled and unprecedented, but I feel like he has just gone off the deep end. Like, he is just, his mind is gone, simply to put it. This is one of those rare moments where it's like we can all collectively agree like this was the right thing to do, and we can all collectively agree like Kim was in the right on doing something like this. So that's just like my whole thoughts and take on this situation. But moving on to Lizzo. Lizzo is back in the limelight again. She's put out a couple new songs. She's put out Love in Real Life and Still Bad. I listened to Still Bad and I've listened to Love in Real Life. I think both of these songs are good. I don't really have an issue with them. She's also lost like a bunch of weight. Lizzo has gone on, I guess, like a weight loss journey. I'm not sure, but she's visibly lost some weight. She has stepped back into the limelight, especially for her new music and for her weight loss. Again, I like her new songs. I think they're good, and she's tapping more into like rock and roll, which I think is an interesting direction for her to take. I'm looking forward to seeing what she puts out here, but she has gone on like a Twitter rant. I don't really know what is going on with her. Again, I'm sure she's getting a bunch of nasty, hateful comments online about her weight loss and everything that's going on with her. But she went on a Twitter rant and she put out like half a dozen tweets where she's just talking about how she doesn't care what people thinks about her anymore. She's just going to do her, and that she has always been fighting for like her old self, like her bigger self, I guess you could say. And she is comparing herself to like Earth, Wind and Fire and Aretha Franklin and Whitney Houston and some really great like black music artists. And she's just sort of spiraled, and I don't really know like what's going on here. Obviously, again, with this whole weight loss thing and her stepping back out into the limelight, I'm sure she's gotten some really nasty comments. I just want to know, like, is Lizzo okay? Like, Lizzo, are you okay? Like, what is going on here? Can somebody check up on Lizzo? Because like this Twitter rant, she was just tweeting and tweeting and tweeting and tweeting, and some of these tweets you just frown at, and then some of them, like, I agree with, like the whole tweet she put out about Whitney and Janet, where she said that both Whitney and Janet were blackballed by Hollywood and the music industry in general. Whitney because of her struggles with substance abuse, and then Janet because of her nip slip at the Super Bowl. Both of these artists got blackballed, and she talks about how they were done very dirty by the industry. I fully agree with those tweets, but some of the other tweets tweets, I'm just like frowning at them because I'm like, I don't really know what she wants out of this. Like, I don't really know what she's trying to say, but like, they've been viewed. Like, the view counts on these tweets is like 100,000 views, but she's only getting like 1 to maybe 10,000 likes, give or take. I'm just confused. Like, I'm genuinely concerned. Like, what is going on here? Like, it shocked me because I didn't even know that she went on like this Twitter rant until I saw another separate tweet where somebody was talking about how it was funny that Lizzo was going on this whole Twitter rant and nobody was paying attention to it. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what's happening here? And then I started to dig into this whole thing and I'm just like, this is like, it just made me like really concerned for her because I know she's gotten a lot of backlash. I don't know, I'm just genuinely like concerned. Like, is Lizzo okay? Like, did I miss something here? She's talking about how people are bad-mouthing her and saying that she's flopping or like bad-mouthing her new songs. I don't think her new songs are bad. I haven't seen anybody talk about her new songs. So I'm just confused and I'm just like genuinely concerned. Like, is Lizzo okay? Like, what's going on with Lizzo? And then moving on to something more funny, or at least I think is funny, Azalea Banks started dragging the absolute mess out of J.K. Rowling on Twitter. She was just calling J.K. Rowling out of her name, talking about her ex-husband, questioning whether she was transphobic because maybe her ex-husband got stole by somebody who was trans or something like that. It was just absolutely insane. And of course, when it comes to Azalea Banks, it's always going to be insane, unserious, but also funny at the same time. And so this whole thing just spiraled. She was dragging J.K. Rowling on Twitter. J.K. Rowling was clapping back here and there. But the whole thing, like, my whole take on the situation is, I say go for it. Like, Azalea Banks, drag her to filth. Like, I don't have a problem with that because this woman, some of the things that she has said and put out in regards to trans people and the trans community are just absolutely downright distasteful and hurtful. And so when I saw that Azalea Banks was dragging her on Twitter, I'm like, I have no problem with that. Like, Azalea Banks, drag this woman to filth. Like, I don't care. Drag her by her lace front, drag her down the stairs. But when it comes to like her dragging her about her ex-husband, apparently like J.K. Rowling's ex-husband was abusive towards her. I do feel bad for J.K. Rowling that she had to deal with something like that. But in the same breath, like, there's no need for her to be transphobic. Like, there's no need for this woman to put out and say the things she does about trans people. Like, it's just so unnecessary and so, again, hurtful and distasteful that I'm just like, you know what, Azalea Banks? Go for it. Leave the whole ex-husband situation out of it. Like, again, I feel bad for J.K. Rowling that she had to deal with somebody who was abusive. This woman has put out some nasty, hurtful, mean things about trans people. So you know what? She gets dragged on the timeline for it. And then the final topic in today's video, this is a little bit political, so if you don't like politics, go ahead and skip right on into the end of this video. Apparently, the Texas House of Representatives has introduced a bill that would ban kids from, I guess, acting like furries or doing furry-like things. In this bill, they want to prohibit kids from conducting in what they call, quote-unquote, non-human behaviors. They want to stop kids from wearing like furry attire in class, so I guess like cat ear headphones or cat ears or like cattails or stuff like that, other than things like Halloween or special school events. And then in this bill, they also say that they want to prohibit kids from barking, engaging in, again, non-human like behavior. So things like barking, imitating animals, or pretending to be an animal. They want to ban this from schools. My whole take on the situation is, first of all, isn't this the same state that a couple years ago when they had that really bad winter storm, like half or at least a quarter of like the entire state of Texas's power grid went out, and then their governor snuck off to a tropic island? Isn't this the same state that literally had to deal with that a couple years ago? And you mean to tell me that now the most pressing issue on your table is the fact that kids are barking and acting like animals? Kids do this. Like, if you've ever gone to an elementary school or a middle school even, kids are gonna do this. Like, this is something that kids will do on the daily. Like, if you go into any daycare, any elementary school, any middle school, you will see some kid that's either acting like a dog, acting like a horse, meowing like a cat, or imitating an animal in some way, because that's normal childlike behavior. This whole thing to me is just so unserious, and I'm just like, how bored do you have to be? Like, genuinely, how bored do you have to be to put something like this into a bill and actually try to legislate something like this? Like, this to me is just so unserious. We've all seen the horse girl memes. We've all seen stuff like this. Like, this is just normal childlike behavior. I don't know. These people must be bored. These people must be got a lot of free time. That's just my whole take on this whole situation. I just think it's unserious. And again, find something to do. Like, please find something to do. Advocate for mass transit. Advocate for lifting people up out of poverty. Like, do something productive instead of trying to restrict kids from simply being kids. But that is all I wanted to come on here and discuss in today's video. I just want to thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Please feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think about the whole Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively situation? Who do you guys think is wrong in the situation? Are you guys team Lively, team Baldoni? What do you think about the fact that Kanye West is having the Tate brothers over to his house? What are your thoughts on Lizzo's comeback? Have you listened to her new songs? Do you like her new songs? That is going to be it for today's video. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Toodles!